Okay guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. Okay guys, I'm back. It is Saturday, May 2nd, and it is 10:44 p.m. and we're going to pick up exactly where we left off in the last video, covering the latest Q posts. I do realize that I forgot to thank the people that I need to thank, but I'm going to do that at the end of this video. Let's hope I remember. If not, it'll be the next video. All right, now we are just picking exactly up from where we left off in the last video, and we are on drop 4025. 4025. Breaking, President Trump says he would be open to bringing General Flynn back to his administration. That's good news. And this Q said Flynn targeted. Why? Who knows where the bodies are buried? Remember, he said that way back. He started asking that question right when he first started posting. He said, who knows where all the bodies are buried? And we would just keep guessing and guessing. But now we know for sure, as we have for a while now, that it is Flynn. Flynn knows where the bodies are buried. Cleared of all charges. Trump admin version 2. So I think what he's saying there is, yes, he is open to bringing back Flynn in when he gets reelected in, his second term. And I think that is good news for all of us, because Flynn is a good man, an honest man, a family man, and will do a wonderful job. Now let's take a look at this, that Q has placed this link there as well for us to look at. And here is President Trump. It says, breaking, President Trump says he would be open to bringing General Flynn back to his administration. Looks to me like Michael Flynn will be exonerated. Absolutely. So let's
come back even bigger and better. So are you going to pardon him? And if so, are you considering to bring him back into your administration?
Well, it looks to me like Michael Flynn would be exonerated based on everything I see. I'm not the judge, but I have a different type of power. But I don't know that anybody would have to use that power. I think he's exonerated everything. I've never seen anything like him. What they did, what they wrote, you see this, General, you wouldn't want this happening to you, what they did to General Flynn. And it's just disgraceful. So,
it is.
I guess we'll get to that maybe someday or maybe not. Hopefully we won't have to get there.
Well, would you consider bringing him back into your administration?
Well, I think he's a fine man. I think it's terrible what they did to him. It's something that nobody's asked me, but you're asking me for the first time. I would certainly consider it. Yeah, I would. I think he's a fine man. I think he's got a great family. He loves his son. I will tell you, his son was around a lot, and he loves his son, as people generally do. And they did everything possible to destroy him.
They did.
And he's still breathing very strongly, but they really hurt him very badly. Very, very unfair. Kristen?
Quick follow. In what capacity? I do have a coronavirus-related question, but in what capacity would you bring him back?
Well, look. I mean, I'm not even. This is really the first time I've been asked a question. But I think he'll be fully exonerated one way or the other. And so certainly he'd be capable of coming back. He suffered greatly.
Yes, he did. And I wanted to add, because I had said something about that they had bankrupted him basically and all that. And I think somebody had kind of challenged me on that. But he has, and this has been well, not proven, but it was stated on, I believe, Fox News. He has spent $5 million of his own money on legal defense. $5 million. So yeah, his family suffered greatly because of this, and he didn't do anything wrong. So it makes it an even greater injustice. Okay, let's go back now. And Lisa Mae Crowley said, oh, look, that silly LARP got another thing right. Only question I have is if General Flynn will be in President Trump's admin during his second term. That won't be until next January, unless You thinking what I'm thinking? We've repeatedly been told to enjoy the show, and we're watching a movie. I've long believed everyone was told at the start of Trump administration what they had on everyone and what they were required to do to destroy the old guard from within. Does this include MSM? Did Q team shut down freedom of the press, including secure drop, and white hats are now controlling? Snowden flipped. Q team controlling MSM narrative. They seem to know about things before they happen. Example, No Name's Time of Death and New York subway bomber. Lindsey Graham sang flipped. So I don't know, but I like that. She says, oh, look, that silly LARP got another thing right, because that's what the world keeps saying Q is just a silly LARP. Well, if he is, it's, ooh, goodness sakes, let me hang on here. The cat just knocked this. All right, hopefully that's okay. Yeah, getting rambunctious again, which is good to see after everything. So, all right, let's go back and let's continue on. So, yeah, you know, everybody thinks that Q's a LARP, but my gosh, look at everything that Q has got right and known before it happened, sometimes right to the day and the hour. It's astounding, really. And this from Praying Medic, he says, Q suggested 2 years ago General Flynn would be returning to the Trump administration after he was cleared of all charges. So that answers that question. Yes, he is going to be in the administration, probably in the second term. So, okay, I don't know what you're about to do, but that's not good. Cats. I fed them right before because I thought that they would sleep, but, well, it didn't work this time. Okay, let's forget about the cats and go on, because we do want to get through this tonight. Okay, and we are now on drop 4026. 4026. James Comey. Actually, this says James Corney, because you know that is how they spelt his name, so that if anybody was looking through a Freedom of Information Request Act form, that they wouldn't be able to find James Comey because they spelled his name corny. Well, he certainly is corny, isn't he? And that is additionally why all the corn memes and why, who was it originally said corn ready for to be cut? Yeah, I think that is my favorite all-time saying. I'm just saying. So here it says James Corney will be served justice. Justice is a dish best served cold. Anyway, paint the roses red to frantically attempt to cover up a mistake with severe consequences, popularized by Alice in Wonderland. So what do we see over here? We have a red rose, and James Comey says, comforting sign of spring in our garden. But that is not, just a picture of a rose. To Q and the Trump administration, they believed that that was his way of asking for a deal. And we have here, denied. Justice will be served. Remember, Hillary Rodham Clinton tried that, and they said she asked for a deal. We said no. No deals. So, painting the roses red to frantically attempt to cover up a mistake with severe consequences. Interesting. And Lisa Mae Crowley said, damn, that was almost as satisfying as drop number 278 when Hillary Rodham Clinton tried to cut a deal and they said no. Oh, I bet you that was sweet. And now we are on drop 4027. 4027, still on the 30th of April. And we've got John Brennan, Iranian Muslim connection. Yeah. Now, we're going to go out and look at that in a minute, but here we have Hussein, and this looks like half of Mishel. Let's read this. The Kenyan was never eligible to serve. This was an attempt to destroy our country from within. Absolutely. Muslim Brotherhood installed in our government. Michelle Bachmann tried to warn us. Example about Huma Abedin. No name chastised her. Brennan is a Muslim convert. Hey, so is Trudeau. Lots of people converted. And let's look at this link that Q would like us to look at. And we're happy to oblige. Okay, now let's listen to this. This is 2 minutes and 20 seconds long, and we're going to listen to it in its entirety. And here, infiltration instead of invasion. So much easier to infiltrate from within and destroy from within rather than invade.
I have also had the tremendous fortune to travel the world, and as part of that experience, to learn about the goodness and beauty of Islam. As a college student in the 1970s, I spent a summer traveling through Indonesia, taking in the wonderful landscape, culture, and people of Java and Bali. Despite my long hair, my earring, and my obvious American appearance, I was welcomed throughout that country in a way that is a reflection of the tremendous warmth of Islamic cultures and societies. Like the president during his childhood years in Jakarta, I came to see Islam not how it is often misrepresented, but for what it is, how it is practiced every day by well over 1 billion Muslims worldwide, a faith of peace and tolerance and great diversity. And if you permit me, or I should say, اسمح بعد إندونيسيا سافرت إلى مصر وهناك درست عربية في الجامعة الأمريكية في القاهرة وهذا في سنة 1975 و76 وسافرت إلى الأردن وفلسطين والقدس وتونس وبعد مصر ساكن في الشرق الأوسط تقريبا 6 سنة لكن الآن
I don't think it's necessary for us to listen to him speak Arabic, but anyway, that tells us a lot. That's not the first time I've seen that video, but yeah, interesting, very. All right, so let's go down to the next post. And actually, this is a Q post from April 22nd, and it said the process of settlement is a civilization jihadist process with all the word means. The Ikhwan Muslim Brotherhood must understand that the work in America is a kind of grand jihad in eliminating and destroying the Western civilization from within and sabotaging its miserable house by their hands and the hands of the believers. Now that is from April 22nd, 2018, a former Q post. So speaking about the exact same thing. All right, now let's come down to drop 4028, and it is simply a link to Lisa Page, tweets by Lisa Page, and she says, Lisa Page says, Iran is smart and strategic and all over the world. Iran isn't an irrational actor, but they have the pride of a 5,000-year-old culture. I feel they are going to hit back in a way to remind America that they are a real and independent country. I hope I'm wrong. Then she responds to that and says, good riddance, but also God help us. My mother immigrated from Iran in the 20s to forge a better life for herself. Okay, that was the first one, and this was the second one, but I think you get the gist. It's interesting. She emigrated from Iran in the 20s to forge a better life for herself. So that makes Lisa Page half Iranian at least. So there you go. And look at this. 4029 drop we're on. We are on drop 4029. Peter Strzok, Iranian connection. And again, we've looked at this in the past, who Peter Strzok's father was. And let's take a look at that. Peter Strzok's father, Peter Paul Strzok. 5 fast facts you need to know. There sure is a lot of people that have ties to Iran in our government, or were in our government. Peter Strzok, the FBI agent, in a storm of controversy over his anti-Trump tweets and congressional testimony, spent time living in Iran and Africa during his childhood. Old newspaper clippings about his father, who is also named Peter Paul Strzok, show. The elder Strzok is a former U.S. Army major who spent significant time in the Middle East and African continent, according to the clippings, which show the Strzok family also has deep ties to Wisconsin and Minnesota. Peter Strzok II, the FBI agent, does not have a lengthy record trail online, at least before his Donald Trump controversies, and his bio has thus been a little bit of a mystery. However, his dad was frequently featured in local newspaper articles in the 70s and 80s and even through the 90s, and the elder Strzok's biography helps flesh out the background of the son. Another newspaper clipping confirms that Major Peter Strzok and his wife welcomed a son, Peter, on the FBI agent's birth date. The family name goes back far. World War II draft records show there was also a Peter Paul Strzok who was born in Thorpe, Wisconsin in 1891. The FBI agent's father is 82 years old. Military registers confirm the father was an Army major. Old phone directories give Peter Strzok, the agent, as Peter P. Strzok II. The FBI agent embroiled in the controversy also served in the U.S. Army. And so this is Strzok, Peter Paul, and just shows what we just discussed there. Here's what you need to know. We're just going to, we're not reading all this, just the headlines. 1. The elder Strzok once lived in Iran with his son and wife, who taught at an American school in Tehran. In 1979, okay, we're not going to read that. We're going to actually just read the headlines of this, because this is not the first time we've looked at this. Strzok's dad was developing a program to send Midwestern farm equipment to Iraq and once argued for military censorship. 3. Strzok, the dad, was born to a family that farmed in rural northern Wisconsin. I don't know what that has to do with anything. When Peter Strzok was growing up, his dad moved the family to Africa and then worked in Haiti. And 5. The younger Strzok attended high school in Minnesota and then entered the Army himself. So that is it. So Peter Strzok's father had spent time in Iran. So did Peter Strzok. And interesting background there. Very. We've looked at this before. So let's come back here. And Peter Strzok was raised in Iran, and his father spent many years there. Here's an article with the newspaper clip in this drop, and we don't need to look at that. He said the resentment of America was because Iranians linked the U.S. involved with the Shah. And Shia theme, Peter Strzok's father lived in Iran and was a Shia sympathizer. Deep State used Iran to infiltrate the U.S. government. And that is by Dio Presso Liber, Sun Q2. And we are going to go on, drop 4030. And there is a link here. And it says Valerie Jarrett, Iranian connection. Now, of course, we already knew that. That's why I was so surprised when Roseanne got fired for her comment. I mean, she's a comedian. That's what she does for a living. And so you would expect comedians are comedic. Well, she lost her job for that and everybody got all over her. But really, I was under the impression she was Iranian all along. I never knew that she had any African-American descent in her whatsoever. Valerie Jarrett, nee Valerie Bowman, born November 14th, 1956, in Iran, American lawyer, businesswoman, and politician who was a senior advisor. And so Bowman was born in Iran and spent much of her childhood traveling abroad, as her father was a physician who assisted developing countries in establishing healthcare systems. In 1963, her family settled in Chicago. Bowman's grandfather, Robert Taylor, was the first African American head of the Chicago Housing Authority. She later attended Stanford University and the University of Michigan Law School. In 1983, she married William Robert Jarrett, a physician. The couple divorced in 1988. Yeah, and I don't think it's necessary that we go through all this. Q is trying to show us how many people that have ties to Iran are or were in the White House. Okay, so well, not the White House per se, but government. All right, now let's go back. And it says, is Valerie Jarrett Hussein's handler? I've always felt that she was. I think that it's pretty obvious. But again, I mean, they lived in the same house. What married couple lives with another woman? That's a little odd. But anyway, the fact that she was his fiancée chair for his Senate campaign and then chief of staff while he was president and now lives with him would suggest this is the case. She also introduced Mishel Robinson to him, another Iranian. I didn't know that. I didn't know Mishel was Iranian. Okay, and this is drop 4031. 4031. Democrats silent about the foreign hack on Congress by the Awan brothers. Well, naturally they would be, wouldn't they? Yeah, and here is the link. But first, I'm going to read this by Lisa Mae Crowley. The brothers were not given background checks, and remember, we've been through all this. A lot of this is review for us, anyway, that have been following it, and not everybody has been, and I realize that. And that's why Q does this. That's why Q revisits it, because number one, it serves as a reminder to those of us that have been following him all along, because there has been an enormous amount of information pass from Q to us. And for the new people, it gets them up to speed. So Lisa Mae Crowley has this to say: the brothers were not given background checks before being given access to highly sensitive government information, and no explanations have been given as to why. All 44 members who employed Imran Iwan, they never ran a background check. 44 members employed these guys and never ran a background check. You kidding me? I mean, most people run a background check for a babysitter. Just saying. And Dio Presso Lieber says that Q is on fire. Awan brothers, we all remember who Debbie Wasserman Schultz hired to manage the Democrat servers. Pakistani, Awan brothers, intel agents, traitors everywhere. Yeah. And this is a reminder of that, and this could be a long, and it is a very long article. I think we're all familiar with the Awan brothers, are we not? Daily Caller News Foundation reporter Luke Rosiak said Democrats exhibited terrible judgment in the wake of the House IT scandal Monday on Fox News and questioned why they still haven't taken action. The Awan brothers, who worked as IT aides for many Democrat members of Congress, including Florida Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz, have been the focus of an investigation into security practices on Capitol Hill. The brothers were not given background checks before given access to highly sensitive government information, and no explanations have been given as to why. The House policy actually says that background checks are required, but if you delve into the fine print, there's technically a loophole that these members may have been able to invoke that essentially allows another member just to vouch for them, Rosiak said on Mornings with Maria. I'm not going to read all of this, don't worry. before you turn over the password that give the guys access to all of the emails of the member of Congress and every file on their hard drives and all the staffers' hard drives, they just kind of ask casually, ask a friend, ask a fellow member of Congress, and fill out this form. And turns out that all 44 members who employed Imran Awan, they never ran a background check, he said. Yeah, why not? I think because they wouldn't have passed it. That's why. And they knew it. If they would have run this background check, it would have found out not only multiple criminal convictions, but $1 million bankruptcy, a dozen lawsuits. It would have found a whole host of major red flags, and the Democrats didn't do any of those checks, Rosiak added. As a result, they gave these guys access to everything, and IG determined that they were funneling data off the House network. Rosiak said the entire scandal is becoming a Democratic cover-up as investigators have been blocked from looking at any deeper into the matter. There's hundreds of thousands of dollars of equipment suspected to have been stolen, and that's basically what the IG started investigating. Then it found that the data was coming off the network too. And we don't know exactly what the data was. We know that it had, quote, sensitive file names, according to the IG. And the reason we don't know more, because the House actually blocked investigators from looking at some of the stuff, Rosiak said. This is a cover-up. Oh, it's a huge, humongous, colossal cover-up. This is the biggest story that you never heard about, he continued. It's a hack on the Congress by foreigners, and the Democrats didn't care about it. They didn't stop it. These are the same people who were talking constantly about cyber breaches in Russia, and if you care about one, you've got to care about the other. So why haven't they addressed it? Rosiak thinks Democrats are silent on the scandal because it would interfere with their Russian hacking narrative and affect their grasp on power. It basically destroys that Russian narrative just because it shows that they didn't actually care about cybersecurity and they haven't responded to this. And thirdly, it could just be a question of, do these guys have something on members of Congress, he concluded? Probably. So let's go. Well, I did end up reading it because it has been so long ago. I needed a refresher as well. So I figured if I do, probably you guys do as well. Not necessarily, but possibly. All right, and let's get back into here and go on. All right. Now we are on drop 4032. 4032 still, believe it or not, on the 30th of April. He was busy that day. Very, very busy. Okay, and we've got a link here to go out to, and also we've got, and let me read this to you guys before I go out to the link. This is by Lisa Mae Crowley. Long read about Hussein admin dropped charges against major arms targets, infuriating DOJ, and undermined its own counter-proliferation task force. Now, because I've got a lot of stuff to get through and it's already 11:11. I think I'm going to skip reading this, but I will tell you the drop. It is drop 4032. 4032. If you go out to here, let me go and show you where this is. La 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 la. Oh, it's right here. www.qmap.pub. You will find the latest ones and you can peruse that at your leisure. But I know that reading it is just not really, it's a long read. But anyway, Praying Medic says, why did Barack Obama allow Iranian terrorists to be set free as part of the Iran nuclear deal? Why did Obama train ISIS forces? Well, we know the answers to some of those. Absolutely. And we're coming down here to drop 4033, still on the 30th of April. 4033, video of Obama taking credit for training ISIS/ISIL forces. And we've all seen this. I know it's short, so let's take a look. Okay, and let's...
Was moving too slowly, but the fall of Ramadi has galvanized the Iraqi government. So with the additional steps I ordered last month, we're speeding up training of ISIL forces, including volunteers from Sunni tribes in Anbar province. As I've said before, this aspect of our strategy was moving too slowly.
Interesting how Donald Trump wasn't in office very long until before it just dropped from the news. ISIS, ISIL, what have you, gone. I'm sure there are factions still around, but it's not prominent like it was with Obama. Okay. And Lisa Mae Crowley comments, second time Q linked to this tweet regarding Hussein talking about how we trained ISIL forces. The level of treason committed by the previous administration is staggering. They will need a new word for treason. Yeah, that's true. And Dio Presso Lieber says, makes sense why Hussein capitulated to Iran in the nuclear deal. While he was hopping in bed with Iran, Hussein also built up ISIS with Sunni fighters to counterbalance Israel and to wipe Christianity out of Syria. Why? To satisfy the Muslim Brotherhood. Why else? And we are moving forward to drop 4034. 4034, Michigan senator calls out Muslim Brotherhood's civilization jihad plot against America. All right. And let's take a look at this. My gosh, he was pretty prolific poster on the 30th, wasn't he? Wow. He's taken 2 videos just to get through it. Tension flare on Senate floor over GOP senators' Muslim Brotherhood remarks. Tensions were high on the Senate floor today, and this is from April 26, 2018. Tensions were high on the Senate floor today when a lawmaker doubled down on claims that Muslim terrorist groups are trying to infiltrate the U.S. Republican Senator Patrick Colbeck, Republican Canton, is running for governor. A BuzzFeed article recently uncovered a presentation Colbeck gave. In it, he accused a Democratic candidate for governor of having ties to the Muslim Brotherhood. Colbeck has offered no proof to support this claim. Colbeck did not mention Abdul El-Sayed in his floor speech today, but he did reiterate his belief that there is a civilization jihad plot against America furthered by the Muslim Brotherhood. He was right. The organizations which share the professional mission of the Muslim Brotherhood to destroy our nation from within are real, not theoretical, Colbeck said Thursday. They are active right here in the state of Michigan. Colbeck said Muslims have gained positions of power in places like Hamtramck and Dearborn, where they plan to implement Sharia law. There's no evidence to support that second claim, but that hasn't stopped some fringe groups from stoking fears about it. Democratic Senator David Kniezek, Dearborn Heights, denounced Colbeck's views after Colbeck's speech. This type of behavior is a kind of cheap ripoff of Joseph McCarthy, he said, spreading hatred, pseudo-intellectualism. The Senate president repeatedly banged the gavel at Kniezek for his comments against Colbeck. Yes, I hope you're looking at me, Senator, as I call you a coward. Senate rules do not allow members to disparage other members during floor speeches. Republican leaders in the House and Senate did not have any comment on Colbeck's beliefs. Well, he was right, wasn't he? Sure was. Now, let's come back over here. And Lisa Mae Crowley says the organizations which share the professional mission of the Muslim Brotherhood to destroy our nation from within are real, not theoretical, Colbeck said Thursday. They are active right here in the state of Michigan. And Sun Q2, or Dio Presso Lieber, said Hussein's best friends, Iran and Muslim Brotherhood, Dems tried to cover up their love affair with the Muslim Brotherhood and would adamantly deny it when called out by a Republican who was running for governor of Ohio at the time. All right. Now, are we getting any closer to May 1st? On here. Wow. Unbelievable. Okay, well, I see it there. So let's power through here and get through April 30th, and then I guess, I don't know, maybe one more video, maybe two, I don't know. When they'll end, they just keep coming. He's probably out there posting now. Okay, I'm determined to get through these tonight. All right, now here is the next. Okay, now I got to go back up to here. Okay, now we are on drop 4035. 4035. Mark Levin, the Muslim Brotherhood, the Muslim Brotherhood has infiltrated our government. It's called Barack Obama. Yes, isn't that the truth? All right, let's take a look at this. Mark Levin, the Muslim Brotherhood, has infiltrated our government. It's called Barack Obama. Now, how long is this? I think, let me see. It's 7
What
minutes.
the hell are we doing? What the hell is this president doing? Sending F-16s to the regime in Egypt, the Muslim Brotherhood, which hopefully will be overthrown by the military there? Sending M1 tanks, other defense items? Did you ever think you'd see the day?
I don't want to take 7 minutes, so I'm going to just read the first paragraph. Mark Levine, what the hell's happening? Now we've backed the Muslim Brotherhood, and then, of course, our dear friend Mishel Bachmann and Louis Gohmert and 3 other brave members of the House of Representatives ask questions about the Muslim Brotherhood's infiltration of our own government, and they're treated like pariahs. Well, the Muslim Brotherhood has infiltrated our government. It's called Barack Obama. No, he's not a formal member. He's a sympathizer. There, I said it. Prove otherwise. Meanwhile, you want to look into Obama's soul? You want to look into his soul? Well, look at his soul. You want to know what I see, Mr. Producer? I see Chuck Hagel. What kind of commander-in-chief would nominate somebody like Chuck Hagel to be Secretary of Defense? I'll tell you what kind of commander-in-chief. The kind of commander-in-chief that arms the Muslim Brotherhood. Islamo-Nazi regime in Cairo, where he's hollowing out the greatest military force on the face of the earth under his direct command, the United States military. That's what kind of commander-in-chief he is. Chuck Hagel, who's a sympathizer with the most radical elements in the Middle East and an Israel hater. So why would a president nominate someone like Chuck Hagel? Because the president is Chuck Hagel. He's a sympathizer with the most radical elements in the Middle East, and he's an Israel hater. That's why he nominated Hagel. So, Chuck Hagel making a fool of himself today at his confirmation hearing, and he'll still be confirmed, I bet, because the Democrats are lockstep. Even the Jewish Democrat members of the U.S. Senate, they're lockstep. The Anti-Defamation League, their lips are sealed. AIPAC, Hagel once called them the Jewish lobby. Their lips are sealed. They're all a bunch of cowards. It's the righteous Gentiles who are speaking up. You want to hear the truth? You'll hear the truth on this microphone. It's the righteous Gentiles who are speaking up. It's the conservatives who are speaking up. And Chuck Hagel is not just a problem for Israel. He is a huge problem for the United States military. This man believes in unilateral disarmament. Whether it's convention weaponry or nuclear weaponry, he's on the record, and there's not a damn thing he can say to reverse course. And then again, so is Obama. That was Mark Levin. Is it Levin or Levine? I think it's Levin, maybe. I'm not sure. January 31st, 2013. All right. Let's go back. And Lisa Mae Crowley says Levin knew what many of us suspected before he was first elected. Barack Hussein Obama was enabling the infiltration of our government by Muslim Brotherhood operatives. Mishel Bachmann and Louis Gohmert tried to warn everyone and were treated like pariahs, and they were. I remember that. So let's move on here, and this is drop 4036. 4036. Mishel Bachmann's called Michelle Bachmann called out the infiltration by the Muslim Brotherhood back in 2012. And she did. And we've looked at this before. Let's go here.
Our United States government, but it appears that there has been deep penetration in the halls of our United States government by the Muslim Brotherhood. The Muslim Brotherhood has been found to be an unindicted co-conspirator on terrorism cases, and yet it appears that there are individuals who are associated with the Muslim Brotherhood who have positions in very sensitive positions in our Department of Justice, our Department of Homeland Security, potentially even in the National Intelligence Agency. It appears that there has been deep penetration in the whole.
She was doing such a good job. And this was so awesome that she stood up. But of course, you know, didn't go well for her that she stood up. Nothing was done. And it says, kudos to M2 Madness for the Q shout out. Here's a longer video of Michelle Bachmann regarding civilization jihad at Obama DHS whistleblower Philip Haney press conference in June 16th. He was murdered on the 21st of February 20. I'm not sure what she's talking about there. Okay, I'm not sure about that, what she's discussing there. And this by Praying Medic. In 2012, Michelle Bachmann called out Muslim Brotherhood infiltration. Former prosecutor Andrew McCarthy has written extensively about the Muslim Brotherhood's invasion of America's government. It's quite evident now. It's quite evident that it was infiltrated by them. And this drop 4037, one step at a time. Q. And Lisa Mae Crowley says all these drops regarding Iran, Pakistan, Muslim Brotherhood, ISIS, Hussein administration, etc. will be revealed after Durham wraps up FISA. What they did to POTUS and General Flynn was to try to prevent exposure of their plans to destroy us from within. They never thought she would lose. No, evidently they didn't. All right, and Praying Medic says, how do you infiltrate an opponent's government? One step at a time. Infiltration instead of invasion. Absolutely. And drop 4038, James Clapper degraded the true threat imposed by the Muslim Brotherhood. And he did. Is it time for Intelligence Director Clapper to resign? James Clapper is a man who served his country with magnanimous distinction. He is an intellectually brilliant leader. Such a person deserves the utmost respect and gratitude for his service to this great nation. With this said, in every person's life, there is a time to hold and a time to fold. Just this week, DNI Clapper proved it is his time to fold. James Clapper has been placed in a very austere predicament, forcing him to play political games. He took an oath throughout his career, swearing to protect against all enemies, foreign and domestic. The political game he plays conflicts with the oath he swore. This week, the current director of national intelligence made comments degrading the true threat imposed by the Muslim Brotherhood. His comments were most likely made in an attempt to appease his masters running the White House. Make no mistake, his recent comments about the Muslim Brotherhood were nothing but intentional. His recent statements proved to the country that he failed the people in his ethical obligations of seeking and speaking the truth about current threats as Director of National Intelligence. It is assumed that Clapper knows everything about the Brotherhood. He should be aware of Brotherhood infiltration into government institutions to include Department of Defense, State, Justice, Education, and Homeland Security. The DNI must be cognizant about the Muslim Brotherhood's major role in the Holy Land Foundation trial, the largest terror funding trial ever in the U.S., and he should be aware of the Muslim Brotherhood's charters, which openly state intentions to replace all forms of nation-states' constitutional law with Sharia law. Clapper is no dummy. He must be fully in the know about the aforementioned activities involving the Muslim Brotherhood. Publicly articulating the MB as secular must have been fully intentional simply to fall on the sword of the administration. There's nothing secular about the Muslim Brotherhood. So, as he so foolishly stated, while it is obvious that Clapper made such comments to appease his masters, he has let down many. Specifically, Clapper has let down the team of intelligence operatives whom he is supposed to lead. His recent misinformation campaign about the Muslim Brotherhood proves his allegiance to the elected running the United States. Regrettably, it also proves his inability to uphold part of his oath in protecting us all from enemies, foreign and domestic. Sadly, while the Muslim Brotherhood originated as a foreign entity, they are sleeping inside every major government organization, exemplifying their domestic threat. Director Clapper needs to either take on the threat or break his allegiance with the Obama administration and resign. It's time we truly protect ourselves from all enemies, foreign and domestic, and the first step is defeating the Muslim Brotherhood. Well, yeah, absolutely. And that was from 2011, that long ago. Okay. Now, let's go back. I think we're just about there. And Lisa Mae Crowley says, Clapper is a bumbling idiot on top of being a traitor to our country. He downplayed the threat of the Muslim Brotherhood in our government. Publicly articulating the MB as secular must have been fully intentional simply to fall on the sword of the administration. All right. And we are now, woohoo! We are now on, officially, May 1st. So I'm going to end there. I do know I have people to thank, but this video has gotten to be too long. I'm going to get this uploaded real quick and start on the next. All right, guys. I will see you in the next video, unless you're all tuckered out from listening, because I'm getting tuckered out from talking. But hopefully, I don't know if we're going to make it all the way to the end of today's video, because Q posted a ton today. So I may have to let it run into tomorrow. I don't know, but I'm going to do my very, very best to get us caught up. All right, guys, you stay safe, stay well, stay blessed, and keep seeking truth. Because if you don't, deception, it'll bite you right on your hinder parts. Good night.